homestead. It's windy today as well, so you might get some wind noise in this video. I showed you earlier about how many blueberries were actually growing on these bushes, and I'm assuming it's the sparrows and other small birds. They've eaten every one as they got ripe. So I'm off to the blueberry fields now in the 4th access road to see if there's any out there left for me to pick, and we'll come back on when we get there. It's been 15 minutes on the pavement, and now I have to go into this 4th access road. There's nobody here. Sometimes people come and they park here because some places this road is rough, and so they bring their ATVs and they leave their vehicle out at the end of the road. Well, you'll have to excuse the wind noise. I have in the mail a thing that hopefully I can put together something once I get it so that I can get a good recording, but that doesn't do me any good right now. It took about 20 minutes on the gravel road. They actually had it maintained, and so it was relatively smooth as far as gravel roads go. Here's the road that I came in on right here. And so this area at one point was clear cut by the forestry, and then they go through, they kind of disturb the soil and plant out mostly spruce trees. But the first thing that grows up, along with the crackerberries and fireweed, are blueberries. See, there's blueberry bushes there. There's not many berries on those, but there's a few on here. And as we walk through this area, it's getting grown up now, so there won't be very many more years, and this won't be a good area for picking. But you see the number of berries that grows on these bushes, and this is why most people here in Newfoundland, on the lower part of the island, they don't bother to grow blueberries, because they can go to the 4th access road and pick them like crazy. I'm later in the season, and there's advantages and disadvantages to that. The disadvantage, well, in this area, it doesn't seem like anybody's been here, but a lot of areas you go to and there's already been people there and picked over. The other thing is that a lot of these berries now, they're getting soft, greater percentage of them are still good. And as you probably noticed, most of them are ripe. If you go earlier in the season, there's another berry picker. There's probably a berry picker coming up here right now. Then you'll get a lot of raw berries, and you're forced then to pick just by hand. With most of them being ripe, this is the first time I've used one of these. So this is a berry picker. It's got teeth. So you just run through. It leaves most of the leaves behind. And like I say, because most of them are ripe, then we're not worried about the few raw ones that we're going to be picking off here. The only thing with the ones that are soft, then doing this, I may squish some of the soft ones. So quickly, what you get is this. And now I'll put them in a container, and I'll bring it home, and I'll clean that out when I get home in a much more comfortable place. I have my 2 hip trugs that I'll fill up. And I have a bucket with a handle. I'll fill those 3, then I'll go back to the truck and empty it into the containers I have there, come back out and fill them up again. Be careful you don't get these though. These are poisonous berries. They're pretty much black in color, so they're recognizable, but if you were just going through and trying to pick berries as fast as you can, I'll take up this plant and show you up close. Then you might accidentally put some of these in with your blueberries and not notice them when you're actually going through and using the berries. Well, you tipped over. I'll turn you off now. Like I said, it was my first time trying that blueberry picker, and I picked with it for a while, and I decided I didn't like it. What time it would save me out here, and I didn't think it was saving me any time really. I'd end up having to spend it cleaning them out afterwards. So I ditched that idea. Blueberries, they grow on a bit drier soil. And so quite often you'll get patches out here in the blueberry fields where you can just sit down beside them and pick away nice and comfortably. daydream or meditate while you're at it, which is what I was doing. And I was thinking, as I said in the beginning, it looks like the birds, the small birds, ate all the blueberries that was growing in that patch that's growing on my property. And why? I mean, you come here and you see the bush is loaded. Why wouldn't they eat those, right? Well, if you look around, here they grow in clumps. You get a clump and then there's none, and another clump, and then there's a space. In between, it's mostly crackerberries, which are quite edible. They're just tasteless. They're high in pectin, apparently. So if you wanted a berry to thicken up, maybe like rhubarb, some strong tasting berry, you wanted something to thicken your jam, you can use the crackerberries, the Canadian bunchberry. But back to the blueberries, I was thinking that at home I have this big huge patch. It's like 20 feet wide and 50 feet long, and there's just nothing but blueberry bushes. If I cut crisscross lines between it, such that I would have just clumps of blueberry bushes, I might get the same as what you see here. In between, on those lines, I could put down wood chips, because I mean, I've got the 3.5 acres that I've got to take care of, and there's a lot of alders on that. So getting wood chips would be not a problem. And basically, I mean, that's what the blueberries are growing in, right? When the forestry went through, they limbed everything out. You got all the limbs there, and then they go through with their plow thing, and so everything's all broke up, bits of log and limbs and everything. That's your bed for your blueberries. So I'm thinking that should work fine. That'll be an ongoing experiment for back at the homestead. And see if we can't recreate the early growth of a forest like you see here. When you're able to sit down nice and comfortably beside the bush, which is what I'd be able to do if I crisscross through and kind of level it up with wood chips, they can just pretty much pick all the berries. And whereas with that berry picker, I was kind of leaning up over, and it was awkward, put it that way. Here I'm using both hands to pick, and I feel in the long run it'll be just as fast. I'm picking them pretty clean. So back at home, I have two separated out into two different containers. These are the ones that I picked by hand, and what's in this bucket is mostly what I picked with the berry picker. If I take what I picked by hand and pour it out, you can see I did get the occasional leaf in there and raw berry. but for the most part it's pretty clean. So I can take that and just put it in a container and stick it right in the freezer. I don't need to do any cleaning now with that. Really, I'm not going to worry about the few, not very many leaves that's in her. And now with this, you can see right on the top there, all of these little stems and a lot of raw berries. And as I turn it out, you see a lot of raw berries, a lot of stems, a lot of squished soft ones that I don't have in my hand-picked berries. So I have to go through this now. Basically take it, spread it out, pick out all the gunk that I don't want, which is going to take me time. And there's little bits of fuzzy stuff from the seeds from other plants. See, here's what was a soft berry, and it's all squished. Then you get some berries that are gone bad completely. So this is what I've got to do with this one. I used a berry picker for now. And I feel that's going to take quite some time. Then when I get all the bad stuff picked out, I'll just put it back in the bucket. Back to the berry patch at home, as I was saying, of course, we're down low now. See, here's the well over here, and the patch starts right there. And it travels a thick mat of blueberry bushes all the way up right up to the top of the hill. See, here's the apple tree. And where I planted the mulberries over right there. So it comes right up here. It does extend in there. Now I can clear down some of these aspen. And as I was saying, if I cut crisscross lines and put wood chips in the lines, then I might be able to recreate what you see out in the forest. And that shall be it. It took me quite a while actually to get those berries, but I'm not feeling well. I'm doing alright today actually, but I did have another seizure a week ago, and it takes a week to get over one of those. At any rate, most people, they can go out and pick their blueberries quite fast out in the blueberry fields. I'm probably better off trying to manage the crop that I have here on my own property. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.